So we're dissecting verses 18 to 19 up here at this point, James 2:18 to 19. But someone may well say, you have faith, I have works. Show me your faith from your works, and I will show you from my works my faith. Then Mr. Someone continues with an example which is, in his mind, proves out the supposed impossibility of the above two statements which he just made above. Saying, let me give you a hypothetical, and it's not going to be true. You believe there is one God, you do well, so do the demons believe, and they shudder in fear. So, we have to look at this, and some manuscript evidence comes to play. Most translations accept chorus in lieu of ek in the first phrase of verse 18. Look at verse 18. But someone may well say, you have faith, and I have works. Show me your faith from your works, and I will show you from my works my faith. And here it is in the Greek. Show me your faith from your works, from the works you are. That's the first phrase. And I will show you from the works my faith. My faith. From my works, my faith. But the problem is, the better manuscript evidence shows, show me your faith without your works, and I will show you my faith by my works. This necessitates that the author James be the one who is speaking, since it is he who maintains that works do have indeed and have a significance in showing what one believes, and not the objector. But this makes verses 18 and 19 bounce back and forth and back and forth. It's objective. It's awkward. So here's the way verse 18 reads much better and validates the correct use of the preposition ek if the entire verse is attributed to the objector, which it is. It doesn't make sense to bounce back and forth. It's confusing. By the rendering of ek, as it appears in a majority of manuscripts, as rendered as follows. And here it is. Show me your faith from your works, and I will show you from my works my faith. Thus, the objector is saying in a sarcastic way, show me what kind of faith you have from what you do, which the objector maintains is really not possible. But it is. Abraham, how faithful was he? You can tell what his faith was because of what he did, especially with his son Isaac on the altar. And I'll show you from what I believe in, which is maintained as equally impossible by the objector, but it's certainly not in real experience, which James is going to get to. Abraham is a great example. So, Mr. Objector says to James, you say that faith and works are connected, that faith without works is a dead faith. I don't think so. Show me the kind of faith you have from what you do, which is impossible to determine what he maintains. The two are not connected, but they are. And if you can, and I show you can, but they are, cannot. The objector is lazy. He's a Christian probably, but he doesn't want to do anything. Doesn't want to take the risk of rejection and so on. Then I will show you from what I do, what I believe in. So he puts the onus on the believer, on Mr. Objector, puts the onus on James, the writer. So, going back to verse 18. Verse 18 reads much better and validates the correct use of the preposition ek, which is in the majority of manuscripts, if the entire verse is attributed to the objector, via the rendering of ek as it appears in the majority of manuscripts as rendered as follows. Show me your faith from your works, and I will show you from my works my faith. Thus, the objector is saying in a sarcastic way, show me what kind of faith you have from what you do, which the objector maintains is really not possible, and I'll show you from what I do. I'll show you from what I do. Okay. Redundancy there. What I believe in, which is maintained as equally impossible. But all things are shown to point to what you believe in by what you do. So Mr. Objector says to James, you say that faith and works are connected, that faith without works is a dead faith? I don't think so. Show me the kind of faith you have from what you do, which is impossible to determine. The two are not connected, and if you can, and I know you cannot, then I will show you from what I do what I believe in. So, the exact extent and meaning of the objector's words have long been a problem to commentators. We'll move on. The view of many writers that James' reply has to begin at verse 18b ignores the manifest structural signals of James's text, because he starts his rebuttal with, you foolish fellow. All the way back, let's go into James 2:18. I'm going to jump on the gun here and then work my way back up to it. James 2:18. See, James 18, but someone may well say, you have faith and I have works. Show me your faith without the works, and I will show you my faith by my works. You believe that God is one, you do well. The demons also believe in shudder. But are you willing to recognize? Here it is. 20 is where James starts. It makes sense. You foolish fellow, that faith without works is useless. Was not Abraham, our father, justified by works when he offered up Isaac, his son, on the altar? So 18 and 19 belong to the objector. So, some attribute this verse to James and not to the objector, but James does not say this. The objector, Mr. Someone, does. The objector in verse 19 makes a misguided attempt to build a case for not doing works. He's lazy. James wouldn't say this because he is on the side of works being performed by the believer in addition to faith, and then he presents the wonderful example of Abraham. So it is Mr. Someone, Mr. Objector, who says, you do believe that there is one God. You believe in monotheism, don't you? Well, you do well. Recall that most of James's readership is Jewish, which is intensely monotheistic. Mr. Someone goes on to say, let me take my shirt off here. It's a little warm in here. Mr. Someone goes on to say, but the demons also believe in one God and look at their actions. Totally the opposite from you. They shudder in fear like a bristling dog. So, Mr. Someone is saying that when an individual proves nothing about what he believes. Just, people aren't 24/7 faithful, but there's certain things he does, like Abraham wasn't 24/7 faithful. But you can see for sure what he believes in. Mr. Someone maintains that works shed no light on the content of one's faith, much less validate that faith. Therefore, Mr. Someone maintains that there is no obligation for a believer to do good works to validate his faith with men. Point D. But the truth of the matter is that the rebellious and evil behavior of the demons does not contradict what the demons truly believe. They believe in one God, but also believe that they can become like God. Amen? Take a little section here and tear it out of its context. Notice that the imaginary objector rebuts author James by coming up with the absurd example that although the Christian and the demons both believe in one God, they don't act the same, so works are irrelevant. You bring up an irrelevant conversation that doesn't prove the case, and you make a good case of it, but you haven't proved anything. This is indeed an absurdity, because believing that there is one God does not necessarily include believing that he is sovereign over one's life. Nor does it make one a Christian, especially demons. They're not offered the gospel. Nor does it enable one to do good works. One may believe in one God, but not trust that he is in fact sovereign over one's life, as the demons do not. Hence, one may decide one can behave any way one wants to, and not be held accountable to God for what one does, and act just like the demons do. And they do. On the other hand, if one believed in one God, and in his sovereignty over one's life, and that one was accountable for what one did, then there certainly would be a different behavior pattern. So it's letting the two verses be what the objector says. That makes sense. Then you foolish fellow begins the rebuttal by James, and then he goes on about Abraham. There you go. That's logical. So the truth of the matter is that the rebellious and evil behavior of the demons does not contradict what the demons truly believe in. They believe there is one God and tremble in fear, but they also do not believe in him as their God and worship him. You can believe that the king of England is your king, right? He's the king of your country, but you don't necessarily have to obey him. You can do all kinds of rebellious things. Their behavior actually does not reflect their state of evil rebellion and what they actually believe. Yes, they do believe in one God, but they also believe that they can become like God, usurp his authority, and become gods themselves. That's what they did. They do not believe in him as their God and worship him, nor trust in Christ for their personal salvation, which offer was never provided for, made to angelic beings in the first place. They slander against God and man. Their murderous, lying, and evil ways accurately reflect their rebellious belief system. John 8:44, 1 Timothy 4:1, and Matthew 12:45. Jesus brought that up a number of times. So, Dr. Zane Hodges, oh, I know that you'll claim, see, paraphrase verse 19 in this way, I know that you'll claim that your faith in the unity of God is demonstrated by their conduct. I disallow that claim, for the demons also believe the same thing you believe, and they don't do good. They only tremble. The objector, Mrs. Someone in this case, is one who is not motivated to do works and sees no value in performing good works, is because he says that there are all kinds of people out there and who do all kinds of deeds, some good deeds and some evil. Some of these people have faith and some don't. Yeah, but if you examine them in a careful way, you find that by and large, their actions reflect what they believe in. The superficial actions people do all the time. Dr. John Danish said at Berean Memorial Church, where I went to church, he was my sponsor's pastor. In one of these teaching sermons, Dr. John Danish stated, Mr. Someone maintains that what a man does in the way of good deeds is not a measure of his faith. He says that you cannot take your works and show what you believe, nor can you take what you believe and show it by some action. The objector rejects James' claim that there is a dynamic, active relationship between faith and works in a Christian life. Now, if you're a Christian, but you're not acting properly, you don't actually do right, that's going to speak of what kind of faith you have, that you trusted in Christ for salvation, that's your eternal destiny, but your ongoing faithfulness is not going to be reflected. This objector then supports his argument with a statement about monotheism. He says, let me give you an example. How about monotheism? That's the objector. Are you trying to tell me that because you believe in monotheism, i.e. one God, that you are going to act in a certain way? Well, it doesn't give you any structure to behave right. The demons believe in monotheism and they don't act right. They're only afraid of God and they're fearful of his authority. So the objector, and they should be because God would discipline them. They know so far they don't have a superiority over God. So the objector then says, don't tell me that because you believe something, you're going to behave in a certain way. The objecting believer is maintaining his position by the argument that there is no close connection between one's faith in God and one's works. Well, one's faith in Christ, you believe that, but you believe that your requirement is to behave properly in order to receive eternal rewards. Evidently, you don't find that important. Anyway, he goes so far as to say men and demons believe that there is only one God, and yet what does that belief produce? Objector says the same reaction? No. Different reactions. The demons shudder in fear, but they do not subject themselves to God. But the believer, the faithful Christian, the one who's faithful, I should say the one who is a faithful Christian, subjects himself in the opposite manner, joyfully. The same belief, but their works, their expressions are totally different. So Mr. Someone says that you can't prove anything by how you live and how you act. Well, I can see how you're doing. I can hear from your testimony and know of your testimony that you did trust in Christ. We had a conversation, but I see you're not acting faithfully. So you don't believe the rest of the idea of applying your life to the Christian life and staying in fellowship with God. So the objector equates belief in the fact that there is one God which demons express and as a result tremble with belief by Christians in God's sovereignty, his sovereign and exclusive plan of eternal life through his Son Jesus Christ.